Hey, Bougie Club. Happy Sunday. I'm a little early today. We'll go online, make sure y'all checked in. But I'm tired. I'm hot. And I just really want to go to sleep. But I want to talk to y'all. So let me know. Say something in the comments to let me know you guys are on there. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, go to YouTube, like and subscribe. But I want to talk to you all about compensation and resumes and money. You know, we talk about money all the time. I went to IHOP today, and it's only further made me explore this path of thought this morning. So we feel like we need money, and we go to jobs for money, and we do things for money. But that is not true. Our compensation comes from, for the most part, now I'm just talking about me, maybe it doesn't apply to you, but many of us have tied our compensation to what somebody else is thinking about us. So you have to ask yourself, is my true compensation related to money? And when you get to thinking about it, it's probably not. Think about it. We pick a job or a career based on what somebody thinks of the job or career. One of the things that irritates me the most is when I meet people and they ask me, what do you do? I said, I'm going to start telling people that I'm a stripper just to get their reaction. But what I found is people want to know what you do so they can determine what level of respect they're going to give you based on a job title. And we know this, we know this deep down. So we go after jobs that we don't like because, hey, Miss Martha, because we're worried about what somebody thinks, because our true compensation is what somebody else thinks. Think about it. When you're doing something nice for somebody, you're doing it because you're worried about what somebody else is thinking. Now, I know, I told y'all, we're going to go back to the beginning when I told y'all I was struggling with this whole religion thing. We're taught that we're supposed to be nice and we're supposed to be helpful and we're supposed to give and we're supposed to do all of these things. But the reality of those things is they're making you miserable. They're making you miserable. Why are they making you miserable? Because you're trying to be God for somebody else. He's God all by himself. It's enough of him for everybody. I think my mom kind of got upset with me when I told her that the other day. But I've had this epiphany. He doesn't need my help. He doesn't need your help. So think about how many times you've inserted yourself in somebody else's situation trying to be God for them versus letting them figure it out. Now, I'm only going to talk about me. I remember when I was young, I was probably like 19, 20. Nah, this was right before I got pregnant with Gigi. So I was about 22. I remember my mom would not take me to work. Now, my sister and my niece, y'all know I love my niece Emerald. My Emerald was going to school like maybe 5 minutes from my job. My mom was picking my niece up from school every day, but would not pick me up from work. And I could not understand that, and I hated her for that because I felt like she should be coming to get me from work since she was already over there. Her thing was she wasn't picking me up from work when I had a nigga, I know it's not politically correct term, but she was like, if you land up with him, he should be able to come and get you from work. That was her rationale. Now, I'm not saying that she's wrong, but as a child, I felt some type of way. Why did I feel some type of way? Because we train our children to look to us to be their solution versus teaching our children how to depend on their true source of all their provision, which is God, which we are allowing him to flow through us to give to them. But it's like we throw our kids out to the wolves. We don't teach them how to adult, and then they become adults, and then we want them to know it, but we never train them. But anyway, I'm going back to what people think. So that situation taught me a level of independence and figuring it out that I would not have got had she not did that. So I appreciate it now, but I didn't in the moment. So it allowed me to become this person that had less of a dependence on what other people thought. But as adults and as we're training our children, there are so many people who are worried about what somebody else thinks. For example, I have a friend who her god sister had a stroke, and she felt the need to let the god sister in her debilitated state move in with her because it was the right thing to do. It was the Christianly thing to do. You know, she didn't have any other family unit that could do it, so she took it on, but she was miserable. Why was she miserable? Because it's not what God told her to do. It was what the reaction and the perception of people told her to do. So her compensation wasn't doing this out of the kindness of her heart or because she was spirit-led. The compensation was because she was going to be perceived in a better light from people who were looking in. I get it. I've done that so many times, but you're doing something probably that you did because somebody else thought it was the right thing to do, even though you really didn't want to do it. You felt like you shouldn't have did it, but you were worried about something somebody else was going to say about it and how they were going to think. So you chose their compensation of accolades over your happiness. How does that make sense? But we do it all the time. So I'm at a point in my life where what somebody else thinks of me is no longer capital. Like it doesn't compensate me. I don't care. I'm not going to continue to be in situations, go to places, deal with people where I'm unhappy and miserable because I feel the need to be compensated on based on what somebody else thinks of me. So I'm going to encourage you to take stock of what you're doing where your true compensation is not the reward of being a good person or doing something nice or doing something that you were led in your heart to do, but your compensation is what somebody else thinks of you. If you can get over that part, you'll be, oh my God, you'll feel so much better. I feel so good right now, and I feel so good. I'm not compromising my feeling of good for what somebody else thinks. And so I just want y'all to try it on something little. So y'all know in July I started choosing happiness. Hey, Miss Celia, choosing happiness is not an easy task. It's not, because you've got to get rid of the need of what other people think of you. Like, you just got to give zero fudges about what somebody else thinks of you. Like, you got to get to the point where you don't care. Like, the Bible even tells us we should do things for God and not for the praise of men, but we miss that part. And we're doing stuff for the praise of men. So I was thinking about, what if I looked for something that went with my hobby and interest versus money as compensation? Because is money really compensation? Think about it. Is money really compensation? Because you probably at a job that you're not being adequately compensated for some money, but you're not happy. So what if you decided that money wasn't your only form of compensation, and you start looking for other means of compensation that didn't have to do with money and didn't have to do with somebody else think, but your compensation was how you felt? So in thinking this, I'm like, what if we make a resume based on your hobbies and your interests and what you like to do? Because there was a time where we didn't use money. We bartered, and we bartered based on our hobbies and interests. So, if you was the person who liked to sew, you made clothes, and, people would come and bring you food in exchange for clothes. What if we went back to that bartering system? Or what if we decided to be compensated based on our hobbies and interests? So what is it that you like to do that brings you joy? And if you focus on getting compensated for doing what you like, is money really a big thing? Because I'm having this epiphany about money, because we get so caught up in money, but money is a means to an end. It's not the end. For example, what if you wanted to go on a trip? And I say trip because y'all know I like traveling. And I'm talking about me. So I'm getting ready to go on another trip, right? Now, most people think I have to have money in order to go on a trip. You could. However, I'm getting ready to go on a trip where I really don't have to have any money. Like, I don't. Like, I've got a free plane ticket. So I didn't have to have money to buy any plane tickets. I have free hotel points that will cover the hotel stay, so I don't have to pay for the hotel. Like, and so let's think about this. I spent money at this hotel, and in exchange for staying at this hotel, they gave me points. Points is not money. It was just some numbers on the screen. And I wasn't even paying attention to these numbers on the screen till they sent me an email that said this number of points equals this number of stays, this number of nights at this type of hotel, this type of hotel, and that type of hotel. So you know what? We're bartering. Like, I'm getting a bonus. Like, I'm taking these points and I'm exchanging it for hotel stays. So what if there were other areas in your life where you could barter and you can be compensated without having to have any money? Then if you can remove that, how likely are you to put up with some mess because of some money? Like, do you know how many relationships that I stayed in with men because of the idea that I needed some money? I don't know about y'all, I'm just speaking for myself. I stayed in a whole bunch of jacked up relationships because I felt like I needed to be with them because of the financial security. Y'all, we got to get rid of this whole thing that a man is supposed to be our provider. That is a lie. That is a lie that we subscribe to. God is your provider. That man is not your provider. And when we realize that it's not men's job to provide for us, God has already provided for us, you can be liberated and have more healthy relationships. Because let me tell you something, the men tired of taking care of us. They don't like being in relationships where they gotta be the one to give up all of their money. That's why they be cheating, because they tired. Like, they not getting any other compensation. Like, they not getting any exchange for the money that they putting out. You don't want to go nowhere with them. You don't want to watch basketball with them. You don't want to give them no cookie because you mad. Like, if we go back to the things that bring us joy versus being tied to some money, some pieces of paper and some coins, and align with what bring us happiness, how much better could your life be? Like, we be taking care of other folks because of what a family member gonna think. That's not your job. Like, really, it's not your job. Let them figure out how. Now, I'm talking to somebody, and this person know who I'm talking to. That's not your job. Your responsibility is the child that God, the children, or the child that God gifted you with. If you have extra and you have excess and it brings you joy, then do it. I'm not saying don't do it. I raised someone else's child. I have raised several children that didn't belong to me, but I wasn't doing it for the money, and I wasn't looking for a compensation, and I wasn't doing it based on what somebody else thought. I did it for the kid. So anything else that I got was a bonus. Like, I raised my kids with just my money, and we figured it out. And guess who provided? God provided. Did he use other people to provide? He did. But I was never worried about the money, because why I was doing it wasn't tied to what somebody thought. So you got to get to a place where you can do things because it's in your heart and it's in alignment with your spirit, and it feels good to you and it makes you happy to do it, and do it because of that. If you get this gut feeling that is not what you're supposed to be doing, don't do it. It's not. That's your connection with the spirit telling you, girl, that's not what you're supposed to do. Because guess what I figured out? I stayed in a relationship for about 6 years with somebody because I felt like his children needed me, right? And I was being there for the children. Like, I really felt that. But at the end of the day, I was miserable because I wasn't getting a fair exchange from what I needed from the relationship, but I was staying because of what I thought and what other people would think. And you know what? I don't even hear from them damn kids. Do you hear me? I don't hear no happy birthday, no Merry Christmas, no I was thinking about you, none of that. But I stayed in a relationship where I was miserable because I had convinced myself I was staying for the kids. And to a degree I was, but if I'm really honest with myself, I was staying for the money. I was staying for what I thought was financial security of dual incomes, because somebody had convinced me that if you got two incomes in a household, the money goes further and you can do more. But I'm living better than I ever lived by my damn self. And you know what? I could have got to this place sooner had I prioritized how I felt. So how do you feel? How is what you're doing making you feel? I met this lady today at IHOP, and she was complaining because she had to wash the tables, and she felt like the busboy should be washing the table. And she was like, they only paid me $2.13, and I ain't supposed to be washing these tables. And then, you know, they were having a conversation, and she pulled me into her conversation, and she said, I don't think I should be washing these tables. So my question to her was, how did you get this job? And she was like, what you mean? I was like, how did you get the job? She was like, I applied. I said, so you applied for a job that you knew only paid you $2.13, and you know the jobs often ask you to do things outside of your job description, and you mad why? I mean, because you came to them and asked them for this job, right? And she was like, well, this is just part-time, and I used to be a manager. I said, so if you were a manager, why are you working for $2.13? Long story short, this is her part-time job because she's a pharmacy tech. So I'm like, having this conversation, she was like, I could go to pharmacy school, but it would take too long. And I was like, well, how long have you been working here? She was like, 7 years. I said, so for 7 years, you've been working for $2.13 an hour, being miserable and upset because you have to wash some tables you don't want to wash because you think it takes too long to go to pharmacy school? Like, y'all, we convince ourselves of the craziest stuff. What are you doing because you think it takes too long, but you've been in a miserable situation for forever because you think getting out of it is going to be too hard. It's going to be too difficult. It's going to take too much money. It's going to cost too much time. What is it costing you now? How are you being compensated? Is your happiness your compensation? That's all I want to know. Are you at a place in your life where your happiness is your compensation? Because I'm at a place where I don't want to do nothing where I'm not being compensated in my happiness. I don't want a client that's not compensating me in my happiness. I don't want a friend that's not compensating me in my happiness. I don't want a man, relationship, nothing. My kids, if it's not compensating me in my happiness, it's no longer a fair exchange. So guess what? You don't have to continue to be compensated in ways that are not making you feel good. And don't think that money is your only compensation. So if you have a job, but you like the job, you like your coworkers, you like what you do, you're able to get up and work in the morning, and you're excited, and you like going to school. Don't let the lack of money be the reason why you want to leave that job, is if your happiness is your compensation. Like, teaching was one of the best jobs I ever had, and it did not pay a lot. I promise you, it did not pay a lot, but I loved it. I love being with the kids. I love learning for them. I taught SPED. I learned so much for them children. I loved showing them all the possibilities and capabilities of things that they could do and seeing the light bulb. But I didn't make a lot of money. But I was happy. I left because the practices of the school and administration were in direct conflict with my value system. That's why I left. It wasn't about the money. It was just I didn't agree with how the school system was set up. And so I left, but I would absolutely go back to teaching, which is why I do this, and I do this for free. I don't get paid by nobody to come online. Facebook ain't giving me no coins. YouTube ain't giving me no coins. I just like sharing and inspiring with people, but guess what? I can get compensated for that. It's a whole group of people who get compensated for what I love to do. So there's something that you love to do that you can get compensated for. So what I'm going to encourage you to do, because y'all off work tomorrow probably because it's the holiday, I want you to write a list of the things that make you happy. The things that you like to do that make you feel good. The things you like to do that make you smile. And then I want you to start Googling how you can get compensated for that. Like, you don't have to stay at a job for some money. Go to a job based on being compensated in happiness, and the coins will come. I promise you that. I'm going to encourage you to let happiness be your compensation in whatever relationship you in, whatever job you working, whatever it is you doing. If you cooking, like, quit cooking stuff you don't want to cook. If it's not bringing you happiness, quit eating it. Like, if you don't like going, me and Gigi was going to a grocery store, and see, this is the thing. Your happiness is not going to be convenient. I'm just going to let you know. It's not. It's not going to be convenient because we've been conditioned for convenient. So I went to the Kroger's on Union. I don't like the Kroger's on Union. Every time I go in the Kroger's on Union, I feel like diabetes and heart attacks. I don't know. It's a thing. It's probably the lighting in the store, the way they keep the store. But that Kroger's don't look nothing like the Kroger's up the street on Poplar. Like, if I go to the Kroger's on Cleveland and Poplar. It does not look anything like the Kroger's off of Sanderland and Poplar. That's a whole nother thing. But when I go to their Kroger's, it's bright, it's airy, the food look fresh. I like shopping there. So you know what I did? I went into the Kroger anyway. And when I went in there, I got disgusted. And Gigi was like, I don't know why you came here anyway. You know you don't like it. Why don't you just go up the street? And so I went up the street. But this is the thing. We'll do something all the time that we know we don't like. We'll go someplace we know we don't want to be, and then we'll get mad because we there when we already knew we didn't want to be there in the first place because it was convenient, because it was easier just to go. So it was easier just to go and not hear that person's mouth. Look, I am valuing my happiness because you know why? I can give myself my happiness. It's not predicated on what you think about me. So I ended up leaving that Kroger and going to the store that I wanted to go to in the first place. And you know what? It was a much more pleasurable shopping experience. But it was further away. So I'm telling you this because it might take you a little further. You know, it's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you probably inconvenience. It's going to cost you not worrying about what somebody else think of you in order to compensate yourself with happiness. It's not easy. I'm not going to lie and tell you it's not easy. Today, I didn't feel like going anywhere. I didn't feel like washing my hair. I washed my hair last week. I twisted it, and it looked a hot mess, y'all. This how my hair looked. My nephew had a baby shower. My brother probably feels some type of way because I didn't go to my nephew's baby shower, but I did not want to comb my hair. It's Sunday. I don't comb my hair on Sunday. Now, the baby shower was originally scheduled for Saturday. I would have did it yesterday. I would have did it on Saturday, but Sunday is my bougie club day. Sunday is I don't comb my hair day. Sunday is I don't put on no bra day. Why? Because it makes me happy. It gives me refreshment before I have to face my week. So you know what? I prioritized my happiness and I did not go to the baby shower. I went to sleep when I came home from IHOP. Why? Because going to sleep made me feel good. And guess what? I don't care about who mad I ain't come to the baby shower. I take them their gift. At the end of the day, you having a baby shower to get a gift. As long as I give you a gift, you should be okay. All I'm saying is I'm prioritizing my happiness, and I really don't care how my family feels about it. I love them. Now, if she would have been in labor, I would have went to the hospital. You know, so it would have been some things that I would have, but a baby shower, no. It's bougie club day. Like, I don't want to comb my hair. I don't want to have to look like people today. I want to relax. And so all I'm saying is it's not going to be convenient because there's somebody that's feeling a certain way. Like, I know that, and I knew that when I made the decision. But guess who's a priority for me? Me. My happiness. And so I'm going to encourage you to make happiness your compensation. Write down your list of the things that make you happy and start doing the things that make you happy, Bougie Club. Look for a job that allows you to do the things that make you happy and get compensated in your happiness and money. How about that? What a novel idea is that? Then you'll feel better. When you feel better, your health will get better, your body will cooperate more, you won't be stressed out, your blood pressure won't be through the roof. You know, and the little girl, her epiphany was that, you know, she was going to move forward on going to pharmacy school. So this is the thing. I said, well, what do you have to go to pharmacy school? She said, well, you know, I actually had looked into it last month. And my fiance had been telling me I should do it. And they gave me a list of things that I need to do. I just need to execute the list. So look, she at IHOP today. Miserable. Mad, working for $2.13 in an hour with an attitude because she had to wash the table when last month she got the list to say what you have to do not to have to work at IHOP anymore. But for some reason, it is inconvenient probably for her to execute the task on the list. And it's more convenient for her to go to IHOP and be frustrated and be unhappy for $2.13 an hour because she's decided that her happiness is not a valuable compensation. Your happiness is a valuable compensation, and I want you to start prioritizing your happiness and only accepting your happiness as compensation. The money will come because this little girl was only getting paid $2.13 an hour in tips. So it's not like she was getting compensated for her unhappiness. So, why not get compensated for your happiness? That's all I'm saying, Bougie Club. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be inconvenient. People ain't going to like it. They're going to call you selfish. They're going to be talking about, you could have, you should have. And you know what? I want you to tell them I could have, but I didn't. Because I'm prioritizing my happiness. People ain't going to like you prioritizing your happiness. I'm just going to let you know. It's not. But you'll find other people who want to prioritize their happiness, and then y'all be able to barter. I'm just saying. I'm going back to bartering, Bougie Club. I'm trying to prioritize my happiness. So if it's something that you think I could do for you and you got something that you can exchange for me, let's talk about bartering, because I want to barter in happiness. Now, I like coins too, so maybe it's something you don't have, nothing that you can exchange. It's not money. But let's talk about bartering. Like, I don't watch kids, so don't ask me to watch kids. I don't do little people anymore. I love them, but I don't do them. But I'm just saying, think about how you can barter, and barter from a place of happiness. There's something that you can do where people will pay you to do what you like to do, and that can be your compensation, your happiness. Prioritize your happiness. That's all I got for y'all, Bougie Club. Make a list of your hobbies and the activities that you like to do and focus on your happiness. It's not going to be easy because you ain't never did it before. You haven't. I don't know. It took me 42 years to figure this out, but I like it. And I'm going to keep doing it. I actually love it. And I'm just sharing this with you because I want you guys to rewrite your resume. Matter of fact, put your interest in your hobbies at the top of your resume before you do your skills, and let your employers know what you want to do. You don't know. They might create a job because they need whatever. They haven't been able to find anybody that wants to do what makes you happy. I mean, you just never know, y'all. Prioritize your happiness. Quit worrying about what other people think. Forget them. You're not living for them anyway. You living to please God. And if you really be honest, what you doing probably ain't pleasing him, because he wants you to be happy. He wants you to live life and live life more abundantly. But we working for $2.13 at a job that's not bringing us happiness, when we got all of the answers on how we can do what make us happy, but we just are not willing to execute. So execute, Bougie Club. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all tuning in. As always, I love you in this life and the next, and I'm encouraging you to be bold, outspoken, unapologetic, goodwill, inspiring, and epic every day. Choose your happiness. I love you, and good night.